Okay, so after his birth, I dealt with a lot of, like the birth was traumatic and I dealt with a lot of mental health issues. Postpartum depression, PTSD, postpartum mood disorder. It was kind of a doozy. I realized something was wrong when he was like 6 months old, and I was taking a bath one day and it was 4 p.m. and I was climbing into the bathtub and I was like, it dawned on me that it was my 3rd bath of the day. And I was like, I think something's wrong. Like, I don't think this is normal. This might be bad. And I told my husband how I felt, and in that same conversation, I told him that I wanted him to leave. I wanted him to take the kids because I didn't think that the life we created was what I wanted. That's how bad I was dealing with mental health. It felt real to me to say that. It felt like that was a truth, just as sure as I know, like the sun's shining when the house is lit up. I don't need to go find the sun to know that it's there. I knew that truth in me that he needed to leave and take the kids. It was hard, but he told me that he wasn't going anywhere. And so, long story short, that just tells you like how bad my mental health was. It was in the toilet. And over the first year of Levi's life, as my mental health improved, my physical health declined. And it kind of was a slow trickle of all these issues, but I kind of just attributed all of it to like getting older. I'm a woman, I've had 5 kids, hormones, this, that, whatever. Like, it's normal to feel like garbage. You know, there's all these shirts, they're like living on Dr. Pepper and dry shampoo, and I'm like, yeah, I feel you. Like, I don't want to wash my hair either because I don't have energy. If I exercise, that's all the energy I have. Or I can like shower and do my hair. That's all the energy I have. Like, I don't have time or energy to do all the things. And anyways, it kind of came to a head when he was 3 and I was diagnosed. I woke up one morning and my hands were like this on my chest. And I went into my doctor. He referred me to a rheumatologist who diagnosed rheumatoid arthritis. And it was kind of a scary diagnosis because I wasn't anticipating it. It wasn't in my family. And rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease where your joints just kind of start to shut down and they mirror. So I was having it in my thumbs, in my wrists, in my toes. Anyways, it was really bad. And like I said, everything else that I was dealing with, I just thought was normal. And when I got diagnosed with that, I started researching inflammation big time. I wanted to understand it better. I wanted to know what foods made it worse. I wanted to know what foods could help it. I wanted to know what foods I should avoid at all costs. I wanted to know what supplements I should be taking because up until this point in my life, I didn't take supplements at all. I would take an occasional multivitamin, but usually I would buy the bottle of like 60 capsules and it would say recommended dose 2 a day. And instead I would take 1 every other day to make it last longer because I paid $20 for the bottle, right? So it's like, well, you gotta make it last. That was an expensive vitamin. Anyways, I found myself overwhelmed with what was in front of me, like the options to help manage my inflammation. So I decided to just cut out gluten and sugar. Okay, and limit my dairy. And I decided to cut out gluten, sugar, and limit my dairy and see if things improved. And things did improve. And I felt a lot better. But if I ate like 3 peanut M&Ms, I was stiff and sore the next day till 4 p.m. And I just thought, is this my life? Like, I can never eat this again. And if I accidentally do, or if I want to celebrate my kid's birthday, I'm gonna suffer for 24 hours. I remember I was avoiding gluten and sugar during Thanksgiving one year, and I love making rolls and pies and all of that stuff. The next week, like Monday through Friday, I was stiff and sore. I was so miserable because I'd eaten like 2 pieces of pie and some rolls. Do you want to grab that, Ash?
Yep.
Anyway, I don't know who it is, but let's make a spot for
It's probably Jess.
Anyways, so I was thinking, is this really how I'm gonna live? Like, I'm just gonna always avoid these things? This feels like really dumb and not fun. But I was open to it. Hi, Jessica. Because I didn't want to deal with the issues and I didn't want to go on the medication. The medication they wanted me to start was a low dose of chemo. It was a weekly shot of low dose of chemo called methotrexate. And I was scared. So I asked my friend Christy Jex, who was building a house on my street. She was my hair school instructor 20 years ago. That really ages me. But she recommended I take these 5 products. And I said, and I was looking at this pile of products and I was like, okay, a once a week shot of low dose chemo, or should I try this? And I knew I didn't get sick overnight, so I was like, I really think I should try this for a year and see if my body can heal. I didn't want to go on the strict crazy diet. I just wanted to see if I could help my body heal. And so I told myself I would give it a year, but I said if it doesn't improve something in 6 months, it's going to be really hard to keep going, but I'm going to do it. And I started just a couple days before my birthday and I was in. I started in November of 2019. And within just a couple of days, my digestion was stellar. If you guys don't know what that means. Everyone's digestion is normal to them, right? Because we don't talk about, like, I poop every other day or I poop once a week. Nobody talks about that. My daughter's friend's gonna think I'm crazy if she hears us talking about poop, but Love you. Anyways, you always think that whatever you deal with is normal, right? So for me, it was every other day, but that was normal. When I was in 8th grade, it was like once a week. So I thought every other day was great. So when I started and I was pooping 2 and 3 times a day, I was like, this is weird. Like, is this normal? But I started noticing that I was feeling good. Like, I was feeling better. Reality is, if you're eating 2 or 3 meals a day, you should eliminate 2 or 3 meals a day. So that was happening. At the end of the day, I felt like my legs were hurting. And I was like, why am I hurting here? And I was like, I don't think I sat down today. Like, a whole day would go by where I didn't sit down. And I was the at-home mom of kids. I had little ones. I'd be like, let's have movie time. Let's lay down and watch this show for like 2 or 3 hours every afternoon. It was just what I did. 3 weeks in is when I started noticing I wasn't reaching for sweets. I didn't know that I loved sweets as much as I did, but I was a sweets grazer, you might call me. Like, I didn't eat like a Snickers bar, but I'd probably eat the equivalent of like 3 Snickers bars and peanut M&Ms, because I would just eat a couple here, a couple there, a couple here, a couple there all day long, and I was eating so much sugar. So 3 weeks in, I was not reaching for the treats. I would see them, I didn't want them. I might eat one and it tasted good, but I didn't go back for seconds and thirds. 3 weeks in is also when I was down 5 pounds, and I was like, well, shoot, my weight has been the same for like the last 15 years. Yes, my body's changed with babies, but it's kind of come back to the same weight. And suddenly I was down 5 pounds. 3 weeks in is also when I had my favorite improvement. And that was when I just, out of the blue one day, started my cycle. And that was crazy. Anybody deal with PMS or have dealt with PMS? I would have never like acknowledged that that's what it was. But I had low energy, low patience, low motivation. I didn't want to cook dinner that week. I ended every day in a bath. I was really irritable. I lost my cool with my kids and my husband all the time during that week. So much so that I'd be apologizing to my kids when I tuck them in, and that feels really crappy, especially when your teenagers start getting to be teenagers. They're not like little kids. You're like, I'm really sorry I acted like an idiot. And they're like, it's okay, Mom. And then you'd apologize because that was lame. I'm like, I know, sorry. It just feels crappy. I don't care if your kids are 4 or 24. It feels really crummy to like lose your biscuits, right? Why do I say biscuits? I said that last night too. Anyways, so that was 3 weeks in, but being surprised by my cycle was a big deal for me. 3 months in is when I started noticing, remember, the only reason I was starting this is because I was having joint issues, and 3 months in is when I started noticing my grip was coming back in my hands. So I have 4 daughters, and they always want braids. Well, if you don't have grip in your thumbs, like if your thumbs aren't strong, you cannot hold on to hair to braid it. So I wasn't able to braid their hair. For like a year, they'd come in my room and say, hey, Mom, can you do braids today? Like before school, and I'd be like, I don't think I can, sweetie, because I had like no grip. Well, 3 months in, I started going, I have like solid, strong grip. Like I could open my own water bottles. Remember, you had to open my water bottles for me before. I could braid my kids' hair. That was really cool. 3 weeks in, I was down another 7 pounds. So 12 pounds total lost at 3 months in, which was awesome. I'd been surprised by my cycle at that point 3 times. And just showing up in a way that I'd never had in my own home or my marriage or in my relationship with my kids. So here I am almost 2 years in, again, surprised by my cycle every month for now 2 years. The only warning I have that my cycle is coming is that I sometimes want chocolate, and I'm totally okay with that. I eat a piece or 2, and that's that. I've maintained that 12 pounds of weight loss that I lost in those first 3 months. It's still gone. That's my new baseline. That's where my body likes to be, and I feel like I'm at a healthy place. Before, I always felt like I wasn't like overweight, but I always carried extra in my midsection that I didn't love, right? And there were shirts I didn't want to wear because I didn't want to like tuck them in the front because I didn't like how it looked. Don't worry about that anymore because it's gone. Gosh, am I missing anything? I feel like I rambled fast. That's my story.
You did good.
Do you want to share your story?
Yeah, mine's not as intense as hers
That's
because
okay.
I only have about 2 months of experience. But
That's okay.
I know, and it's great because I think you need to see all aspects of how it can be and look. But I had a skeptical go, I guess you could say. I wanted to try the product, but I wasn't sure if I needed it. I didn't have the support at home. Anyway, but my biggest thing was that kind of urged me was my periods drove me nuts, but I had just crazy caffeine addiction. So I drank my energy drink every day, but even though I drank it every day, it didn't make me feel good. So I would have that kind of anxious feeling. It would even make me a little nauseous. Oh, I'm on. And anyway, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna try this because I know I have a lot of passion for health and fitness, so I know gut health is really important. And I've heard of plexus before, we're just gonna do this. And anyway, so I just replaced my energy drink with the pink drink, and bam, instantly I had no need for my caffeine anymore, which was amazing because that's just a silly habit. And then as far as my period, so I used to have periods like every 23 to 24 days, which as a woman, that's just annoying to have that much bleeding in your life. And anyway, so this is about 2 months in, and I've now gone through 3 cycles, and I'm at like day 26. 27 is now when I'm starting my cycles, which is huge. And like Sammy says, she was kind of surprised by him, and that's honestly where I'm at. Like, I go through a cycle and I just don't even realize that I'm there. It's just, this is what my body's supposed to do, this is how I was made, and we move on. And that's huge, because I had a lot of extra symptoms, and now I just feel like I just don't experience those anymore. So I'm on this for life.